Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs. Today I'm going to show you how to make Casper the Ghost. Now Casper the Ghost is a little figure that I had made when I first started, so it was back in January 2013, and we're going to do a bit of an updated version on him. I did him on 2 looms to get his little big face. His big face. So we're going to do him. He's very simple, very easy to do. So we'll do him on a single loom. You're going to need some either googly eyes. These are an 8mm googly eye, or you can use pony beads, or you can use mini pony beads, or you can use bands. It really doesn't matter. So whatever you have available to use. I'm today, I think, going to use the mini pony beads. You're also going to need a single black band, which we will snip at one side so that you have basically a line like that. Okay, so cut it on one side, and that is going to do his mouth. We're going to have our loom in the offset configuration, so columns 1 and 3 are going to be slightly lower than column 2. We're going to have the arrow pointing towards us, or if you don't have an arrow on your loom, it's the open part of the peg, and we're going to be double banding, which means you take 2 bands and you place them on the loom together as if they were one. Now this is a very simple little charm to make. We're going to come down 5 pair down the middle here, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, which is quite big for a head, as you can imagine. Casper does have a very big head. And then we're going to come down on either side and finish one below, so it'll be this one, because that's slightly below or higher than that. Okay, so then we're going to take 2 bands from the centre to the right, from the centre to the left. We're going to put crossover bands here, so a single band, and stretch it across. Okay. Just like this over these 3 pegs, so it's little triangles. You're going to have 4 little triangles there. Alright, next we're going to do his neck and his shoulder and body and whatnot. So 2 bands coming down to here, and 2 bands to here. We're not really sort of doing a neck per se. We're going to come down 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. And I have to admit, it does put an awful lot of bands on this centre peg here, so make sure you push everything down. Now with these white bands for the middle column, you can go all the way to the bottom of your loom with them. All the way to here. From here to here we're going to put bands. Like that. Now for a crossover band here, we're going to take a single band and stretch it into a figure 8, loop it on itself, and that makes it nice and tight at this bottom part. And then above it we're just going to take a single and stretch it across. We're not looping it on itself. Okay, we're at the hands. Take a single white band, wrap it once and twice, and we're going to slide onto a pair. Okay, and we will do another pair, so that's 1 pair, 2 pair. Now normally for arms we do 5 pair, so here's 3 pair, 4 pair, and 5 pair, and we'll pop that just here on his shoulder. Okay, so it's between where the face, there's a gap here where there's no band. Do the same for the other side. wrap it around twice. We need 5 pairs. So here's our first pair, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And we will turn this round and place this on the other shoulder. Now for his tail, it's a little bit longer here, you see, so we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So let's take a single band, wrap it once and twice, we'll make that into our end cap, and we're going to do another 2 bands, so 1 pair and then 1 other pair, and we'll pop that here so that he has a slightly longer tail to him. For his eyes, I'm using my hook to put these on, but you can use a metal threader or a piece of floss, whatever you have. You're going to lift up that crossover band, place your bead or your band or whatever you're using onto your hook, metal threader, floss, and you're going to lift 1 band. You've got 2 bands here. You're going to lift the top band and slide the eye onto that band and replace it on the peg like so. I've got a piece of plastic sticking out from there, and then put the crossover band back. Let's do the same for the other side. Oh, and there's that piece of plastic. Again, lift this crossover band up, take the top band off, you're leaving the other band on, slide your bead or your band on, or your googly eye or whatever you're using, replace the band onto your peg like so, and do not forget to put the crossover band back. Now he's got a very sort of oblong head here. We want it to be rounded, so we will get to that as we loop up. We're going to add some extensions there, and I've been doing them slightly differently, so bear with me. Dig down here, we're going to grab the 2 bottom bands and loop up and loop up. Then we take the top 2 bands. Now these are going to the left side for me and then to the right. If you've laid them differently and you're going right to left, that's fine. Whichever way you've laid them, they go to the corresponding peg. We can loop up the center to about here. We don't do these ones just yet. Loop up the sides, and you are going to loop up the arm as well to here, and again. Now I want to loop the arms in first, so dig down and find those 2 bottom white bands and loop them in, and then on the other side. Then that means that we haven't forgotten the arms. Okay, then loop the chest to the throat or the neck or whatever. Okay, so from here, look and see which ones are on top. For me, it's these ones. They're the ones on top, and these ones are underneath. So I'm looking to loop these ones in first. So dig down and find those 2 top bands and loop them to the side. And we'll do the same on the other side. Loop them to the side, and we'll do the middle as well, so that we know we've done that busy cross section, that busy intersection. Now we're going to loop up these 2 on either side, here and here, and this is where we're going to put our extension on. Now before, I used to put an extension, I'd take a single band, I'd wrap it around my hook twice, I'd take a couple of extra bands and slide on, and I'd take another one and I'd slide on, and I would pop it on top of these. But that doesn't sit nicely. It sort of protrudes at the top when you take it off, and you want it to sit flush and be part of how the contour of the face goes. And if you just shove that on there, you've got this great big blob of an end cap happening, and it doesn't sit flush. So what I'm going to do, what I've started doing lately, take 2 bands. You're going to take your hook, push that crossover band back with the back of your hook, and you're coming down into these bands here, not these bands at the top, not these ones here, these bands. So make sure your crossover band is behind your hook. Put 2 bands, white bands on, and you're going to pull that through and reclaim the end. Now, as you can see, that is now part of what's happening here. We're going to take another 2 bands and we will slide on, and because this is a big face, we need another 2. Let's take another 2 and slide on. So we have 3 pair of bands there. Hold these, pinch those with your finger and hold them. We're going to loop up and up. Now don't worry about the eye, we can pop that through after the fact. Now we're going to reclaim these bands for our extension and stretch them up to here and add them to this top peg. Sorry, I'm making a dog's dinner of this. There we go. Now you're going to add those on top. Okay, let's do the same for the other side. 2 bands now. Remember, we have to go push that crossover band back and out through the side here, not including these bands here. 2 bands, drag through and reclaim. Then we have 2 more sets, don't we? So another 2 bands, draw through and reclaim, and another 2. Oops, flick them across the office and again flick them through the office. Hey, what's a video with me without flicking bands at everybody? Draw those through and reclaim. Hold on to them at the side here. Let's loop up. So loop up this side one and this second side one here. Now before we loop this top one, we're going to stretch this up and add it to that top peg, and now we can stretch this one up and loop it in. Again, you'll push the eye through, that's fine. Dig down and loop these up. Now we're going to loop these side ones in. You're going to grab 2 white bands. One is for insurance. Dig down, poke your hook out the side, pull it back, up to the back side of the peg, reclaim it, take the 2 closest to you up, over and off, and pull tight into a slip knot. Let's take this off our loom. And where you have multiple bands on a peg at the same time, it's always a good idea to use a hook to help you take it off. Now I would prefer to have my eyes this side, so I'm going to poke them through. Like so. And as you can see, the crossover band there makes it look like he's got sort of capped eyelids, like he's a bit grumpy. Pull the arms out and down, stretch out his tail. It's a different look. I mean, it is a different look, and this one sort of looks happy and this one sort of looks a bit grumpy. You're going to grab your hook and we're going to hide these tie-off bands at the back. Or you can use them to attach a keychain, whatever you like. Pull those down. And hide those at the back like that. Make sure the eyes are popped through. Now sometimes, most of mine, I tend to do a band that I twist 3 times to stop them from going to the back of the head. You can do that as well if you choose to. It's not a big thing. For his mouth, you've cut your band, so you're going to pick a spot where you would like his mouth to start and where you would like his mouth to finish. So if I want his mouth to start here, I'm going to loop the band like that and pull through, and then I'll let go of one side and just pull the other side through so he's suspended like this. And then I'm going to do the same at the exact same spot on the other side of his face. Drag the mouth back, and this is going to be a grumpy ghost. And then all you do is tie this in a knot. I do think the googly eyes make it look like a friendlier ghost. You're going to snip the ends of these black bands. Don't snip them so close that you run the risk of them untying, but if they do untie, I mean, it's just a little mouth. You can redo it and do another one. So there we have a grumpy little ghost versus a happy little ghost. Again, how you place the band for his mouth can make him grumpy or happy. How you do his eyes, if you were doing his eyes, the googly eyes, it's just the same. You slide them onto one part of the band. But there we have our little ghost. Happy Halloween. Take care.